go. All right. Get my crap together. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Oh, yes. You know, it's always good when dangerous products get recalled, like, say, defective airbags, or faulty gas pedals, or flimsy children's high chairs. Thank God they recalled those. I remember the nasty fall I took at Applebee's on my 40th birthday. But when something hurts society, you got to take it off the market. For some reason, however, The View is the only exception. And who could forget my short-lived company, Greg's Fiery Lawn Darts? Sounded like a good idea.
Are backyard toys making you yawn? Then it's time to set fire to your imagination and your lawn. Introducing Greg's Fiery Lawn Darts. It's all the danger of 70s toys packed with modern incendiary technology.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's right, kid. And even if you miss the target, you can still set your asshole neighbor's yard ablaze. It's fun for the whole family. Plus, we'll throw in this summer's hottest new toy,
Snake Sandbox.
Order now.
Probably shouldn't have sold those during wildfire season. Although the upside, without all those stupid trees, I can see into my neighbor's windows again. But worse than fiery lawn darts, this flaming a-hole, Chesa Boudin. Oh, yeah.
Breaking news here at this hour. The Associated Press says that San Francisco has ousted that progressive district attorney, Chesa Boudin.
Chesa Boudin. Chesa Boudin. Thank you, evil Shannon Bream. Chesa Boudin. Finally, SF voters had enough of the car break-ins, the open-air drug dealing, the shoplifting, and disposed of their hard-left DA like a used condom in the Tenderloin district. It was a long time coming. His stance on crime was softer than Kevin Spacey at a Girl Scout jamboree. The message is clear. If you're going to have someone in charge of prosecuting crimes, maybe don't make it a progressive former public defender who's also the son of a terrorist. It's like putting one of bin Laden's kids in charge of the TSA. Boudin, or whatever his name is the son of Kathy Boudin and David Gilbert, who were getaway drivers for the 1981 Brinks armored car robbery, in which two cops, Edward O'Grady and Waverly Chipper Brown, and the Brinks guard, Peter Page, were murdered by their accomplices. No wonder Boudin has a soft spot for violent thugs. Perhaps they reminded him of dear old mom. Recently, in SF, a cab driver was beaten to death by a psycho with a pipe, and Boudin's office treated it as an accidental death. Like the fiend was swinging at mosquitoes, and the cab driver just wandered into his path. The whole thing was just a tragic accident, really. I'm surprised Boudin didn't sue the pipe maker. So no wonder the recall was supported by 60% of the voters in early returns. Even the crazy street poopers said, this guy's got to go. So do we. That's a clear majority, something you don't get unless you're voting on something really obvious, like whether I'm better looking than Guy Benson. Now, let's look at those numbers that are still coming in. Right? See, look at this right now. It's 89% believe I am more handsome than Guy Benson. I mean, who could be the 11%? They probably don't have HD TV. Yeah, I think we can call this one early. The last guy to take a beating like that was seen running out of Amber Heard's apartment.
On fire tonight.
Yeah. So is the recall election a good sign? That voters are finally done with these perverse progressive experiments that turn the criminal justice system into a catch-and-release program for violent creeps? I mean, this is SF, where they call anyone to the right of Che Guevara a fascist. Who's next? George Gascon, we hope. You know, the L.A. the DA whose killers are getting tattoos of, which I think is not a good sign. Perhaps New York's DA, Alvin Bragg, who makes DA stand for dumbass. At least when it comes to fighting crime. Remember, he ordered prosecutors to stop seeking prison sentences for many thugs, downgrading charges in cases including armed robberies. Remember, you could brandish a gun and it wouldn't count as long as you didn't use it. I wonder if they apply that logic to flashers on the subway. Asking for a friend. Kilmeade. The result, an explosion in recidivism. Criminals took advantage because, unlike politicians, they may be lawless, but they're not stupid. Now, we know this rise in violent crime coincides directly with the rise of progressive DAs. You want cause and effect, there it is. But something's happening now. You look at this recall following February's recalls of SF school board members for spending all their time renaming schools rather than opening them during COVID. The only thing worse than progressives not focusing on kids is when they do. And Boudin was one among a class of progs who won in a wave of victories in 2019, vowing to reform the criminal justice system that they deemed racist and unfair. And what happened after that? Well, crime shot up like a Times Square junkie. Boudin's reign was a bigger bomb than the ones his mom whipped up in the family kitchen. The radical change they pushed, ending cash bail, no longer prosecuting crime, reducing sentences, ended up creating more crime and more misery for everyone else, especially minorities. So whose system ended up as more racist? It's the one who believed minorities would have a higher tolerance for mayhem. So maybe the tide is turning, and not just in the city by the bay. Hopefully now the streets might get safer, not just from dangerous criminals, but also dangerous DAs. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He looks like he's one of the Brooks brothers, host of the Guy Benson Show. Guy Benson. She writes more than an octopus with 8 pens. Editor-in-chief of the Federalist, Molly Hemingway. She's the contributor at Fox whose arms could pick locks.
Oh, yeah.
Cat tip. And he uses the Great Barrier Reef as a loofah. My massive sidekick and the NWA World Television Champion, Tucker. Guy, good to be here. Not sure I approve of the beard.
Can I comment on that, actually? Because
yes.
I grew this specifically for you, not just because of our DMs.
Yes.
But because every time I'm on this show, you do the little intro.
Yes.
You call me a Brooks brother, and you're welcome, and thank you. That's wonderful. But you always say I look 12.
Right, yes.
So I grow a beard to rebut you.
Yes.
And then you don't even make the joke in my intro.
Halloween costume.
It's just painted on.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is real.
It's like you're trying to sneak into an R-rated movie.
And I've done that. Last weekend, actually. Now, the other thing is your little fake poll that you just referenced in the monologue.
Yeah.
I've never said this before, but stop the steal. This is outrageous.
Yes, it is. You don't know if that's fraudulent, so you can't say anything.
Many people are saying.
Many people are saying. So, were you surprised that Boudin or Boudin or whatever his name is got recalled?
No, I think that he has been so aggressively terrible that even the people of San Francisco have had enough. And that's an achievement.
Yeah.
To be too progressive for San Francisco is amazing. So congrats to him, at least on that. One detail of this that I found interesting is if you look at the map of the city, and some of the local journalists were pointing this out, the areas most likely to want to keep him were white areas.
Right.
White progressives who think they know better than people of color on their behalf, who overwhelmingly backed the recall of this guy who was not just soft on crime. I think that's wrong. I think he is almost pro-crime, pro-criminal, certainly, in his policies. And when you push people hard enough, whether it's those school board members or this DA, even San Francisco can get something right. And here they have again, so I guess congratulations to them.
It's interesting because you bring up those separate neighborhoods. It's the white leftist loves to experiment on minorities with their crazy ideas because it won't affect them. Their Walgreens doesn't close, but in the minority neighborhoods, their Walgreens will close. So they're unimpacted.
Unaffected.
Thank you. I prefer unimpacted. They're unimpacted.
Of course you do.
You could have said not impacted also.
Or not impacted. I'm feeling not well. Molly, welcome to the show. Good to see you, as always.
Great to be here.
Enjoy your writing, as always. Do you think this is the beginning of something?
It has to be the beginning of something, because just recalling this guy is nowhere near sufficient to pull back on some of these progressive policies. And it is worth remembering that he did what he promised he was going to do when he campaigned.
Right.
He campaigned openly as a soft-on-crime guy. And it seems a little bit unfair that he's punished for accomplishing, he kept his campaign promises,
Yeah.
and now he's getting punished.
That's a rarity, right?
Yeah.
He actually did, because usually you come in tough on crime, and then it goes to hell. He goes, I'm not going to do that. You're going to get mugged. And lo and behold, you got mugged.
Was his slogan in this campaign, promises made, promises kept?
Yes, exactly.
The logo was like feces?
Murder, yeah. Well, clearly he stepped in it.
Well done.
See what I did there, Tyrus? So it looks like the real victims won, as opposed to the symbolic victims that the left always chooses.
Score one for the affected.
Yes.
I think we can say that. But this is the problem with the woke and the progressives. There's never a teachable moment with them. Mm-hmm. That's why it's insanity. If a landslide of people voted me out, my speech would have been very different. It would have started with something like, damn, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wow, I got the message. I'll learn from this. No. He said, we were out. They spent more money than we did, and they outnumbered us, and the evil Republicans tricked them.
Right. Billionaires.
Yeah. You know how much money the GOP spent on actors to pretend to be thieves to rob everybody and steal cars? I mean, the budget is just we all had the donations are like $500 to GOP now. It's the stuff they will make up instead of just owning.
Yeah.
They got it wrong.
Right.
And that's why I disagree with it's not going to change.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to change. They're just going to regroup and continue with first world problems and continue to attack people on what they say on social media opposed to what's actually going on in the world today.
Excuse me. I had a little burp there. Yeah. They don't grow up. They don't grow up.
No, they don't have to.
Yeah.
They're the bulldozer parents. They're trying to push their bulldozer agenda on people who are dealing with real stuff and real problems. And I'm glad they rejected it.
Yeah,
it's a small victory.
60%, Kat. That's 6 out of 10. Don't you think that it would be great to have automated or automatic recall votes? Just have them every 6 months or a year? Why not? Because they let the go on for 3 years, right?
Yes, actually, I think that would be a great idea. And this shouldn't be surprising, obviously. I mean, it's like San Francisco is also it's so liberal, but it's also so expensive. Mm-hmm. Like, even when you don't have to, get your car windows replaced every 3 days or whatever, because people are busting into them. And I hate this idea that, criminal justice reform, I thought was a good thing if it would have been done correctly and focus on crimes that are actually victimless. Because when someone's steals your stuff, that's not victimless. You buy the stuff because you want it.
Yeah.
You don't want other people to just take it, but they've just completely destroyed that with all of this stuff. And violent crimes are up because of it, too. So not good.
It is.
Why would you pay so much to live somewhere that sucks so bad?
Because you are immune from it. You can live in New York City, and I had a discussion with somebody who lives in Los Angeles who's a comedian. He's like, I don't know what people are talking about. Everything's great. And then I ask him where he lives, and of course he lives in a very nice area. He's got a car service. As long as the city is great for rich people, it's great. Because you get to eat all the good food, you get to go to all the concerts and all the plays, and you never get attacked because you have, your feet never touch the ground. That's the explanation.
Yeah, I've been miserable everywhere I've lived.
That is true. And
Find a way.
And you share the misery,
Yeah.
which is really nice.